And thank you for joining us for KBOI 2 News Midday. I'm Brian Moore, and let's get right to your top 11 stories at 11 this morning. Well, the votes are in, and David Beater wins his fourth consecutive term as Boise's mayor. Beater received nearly 70% of the vote with two other candidates on the ballot. Mayor Beater easily securing his seat at City Hall for the fourth consecutive term. Now, with the win over Judy P.V. Durr and Seth Holden, the stage is now set for Beater to become the longest-serving mayor in Boise history.
Such a privilege to be the mayor of your hometown, and but to be the longest-serving one is a huge thing. And I've tried to approach it that way. That every day is a privilege to serve, and I want to continue to do that. And now it looks like I get a chance to.
Beater says his priorities include public transportation and coming up with a way to deal with the homeless situation. And in Meridian, incumbent Mayor Tammy DeVeard will serve another term. She captured 78% of the votes. Monty Palmer came in second at 18%. This will be Mayor DeVeard's fourth term in office as well. And the City of Eagles mayor was unseated last night. Stan Ridgway defeated incumbent Jim Reynolds by more than a 20% margin. Ridgway had 61% of the votes, Reynolds 39%. And here are the results of some other mayoral races around the valley. In Star, Chad Bell won with 63%. In Middleton, incumbent Darren Taylor won with 63% as well. And in Kuna, Joe Steer won with a whopping 91% of the votes. And voters in the West Ada School District passed the two-year $28 million levy. 59% of voters signed off on it. This levy is continued, which means no new money is going to the district, but rather it will continue to receive the funds that they've operated on for the past 4 years.
So our trustees really believe that supplemental levies for all districts should go away, and that the state should step up and provide the operational funding, that this shouldn't be something that taxpayers every 2 years have to do, and they would like to see to get out of the business of doing supplemental levies at all, and they're really committed to that.
Now, some folks were concerned about the levy passing because of the resignation of Superintendent Linda Clark less than 2 weeks before Election Day. And in Ohio, voters went to the polls to vote on the legalization of medical and recreational marijuana, but there was another initiative dealing with marijuana grow operations and dispensaries and who can own and operate them. The resounding vote totals and where the citizens of Ohio came down on the issues. We'll have that story in a few moments. Voters in Boise passed the Foothills levy. The two-year open space levy will give $10 million to environmental preservation. 74% of voters were in favor of the levy. Only 26% voted against it. The levy will raise monthly taxes by $2.39 per $100,000 of taxable property value. And Meridian's library bond fell short. It did not make the two-thirds majority needed to pass. 59% voted in favor, which would have funded 2 new library branches. 41% of the votes were against that bond. And Melba's hard liquor drink ban is no more. The city will now be able to sell liquor by the drink in up to 2 of its bars. 56% of the voters were in favor of the proposal, 44% against it. Now, state law will require only allowing no more than 2 liquor licenses for the city of Melba. And McCall will not be seeing its minimum wage raise. 53% of voters were against the ballot initiative. The McCall City Council had the option of passing it itself, but chose to leave it up to the voters. The ballot initiative would have made McCall the first city in Idaho to have set a minimum wage. Ada County elections officials expected a low voter turnout, and it's becoming a trend. The elections office said about 24%. People who did show up to cast their votes say the right to vote is a privilege.
It's a duty. I mean, so many people don't have this in other countries that we should take advantage of it. Every election is important because there's always issues on the ballot that will make a difference in our lives.
The elections office did receive more absentee ballots in the past few days and saw a higher turnout rate from voters in the foothills. Now, the county says that's likely because of the open space levy that was on the ballot.